I have always seen people going into confusion between these two words, application server and the web server. So let me try to explain you the difference between these two. So web server is a server which have the capability to respond to the HTTP request, only HTTP request. So first point for to differentiate between web server and application server is like web server has the capability to respond to only to HTTP request. This is where the term is used. Application server whereas can respond to HTTP request, XMPP request, FTP request, or any other protocol, maybe FTP. So this was an easy differentiation. Like whenever you choose server which is not an HTTP, you can easily say that this is like not an web server. This is an application server. So even database server is a kind of database application server. So we say that it is a database application because it can have various callable method like even database has like stored procedures, right? So these stored procedures do a lot of logical work. So this can be a part of application for database. So database can also be termed as database application server. So again, like anything like which involves complex scenarios built in is an application server, and anything which only like sends in the HTML, CSS, JavaScript code or executes only PHP is the web server or maybe Java servlets. So to understand, like one thing is very clear. First point is clear, which says that any server which is not on HTTP can be a application server, but obviously it will not be a web server. First point is clear. Second point, when we will come to second point, we will talk about only like two softwares. One is Apache Tomcat and second is JBoss. So come to the third row. So we have picked up the examples, the first examples of both the cases, and why I have picked up. Let me tell you that. So both of these containers are HTTP containers. So it means that JBoss is an HTTP container and Tomcat is an HTTP container. So what is a container? Again, do not go by the words deeply. Container is nothing but again it is a server and software. So container is also a software which is installed on a computer machine and it makes the computer machine capable of listening to HTTP request and responding to that. So when we say that it is listening to HTTP request, so it has listened. Now it has reached the software. Now what the software will do? So Apache Tomcat listens via servlet. So please learn this word. My intention towards this video again is to make you learn the words. So Apache Tomcat listens to the software via servlets. So in a similar way, LAMP listens to the software via Apache. So Apache Tomcat also uses Apache. So Apache is a different web server. Apache Tomcat is a different web server. Apache Tomcat is specifically for Java and JBoss is specifically for Java Beans, EJB, that is Enterprise Java Beans. So technically what is the difference between these two? In Tomcat you can write code in servlets, but in JBoss you can write code in EJB. So like HTTP is a stateless protocol. What does this mean? This means that whenever a request is sent to a server via HTTP protocol, the server does not know from where the request is coming. When I hit www.facebook.com and the homepage arrives, the Facebook server does not know from where the request is coming. So this was the reason that the session ID and all concepts were taken into account. So again, please do not try to go deep. Understanding is important on a different aspect. So application server is something like which have some extra capabilities than a web server. So it is more secure. So it can be stateful. Java Beans can be stateful. Second, it can have more complex algorithms. It has feasibility to write more complex algorithms. It has feasibility to like attach more libraries, more Java libraries. So you cannot attach EJB with Tomcat. That is not possible. So that was the reason like Tomcat was other than Tomcat, JBoss was built up. So there is a very minor difference between the second point of this particular differentiation, and that difference comes in by the technology and the complexity of the functionality which is being driven. So one point you can take from here is like web server is nothing but LAMP. Like if it is serving HTML, CSS, PHP or servlet or struts or JFS, then it is a web server. If it is serving Beans, Java Beans, then it is not a web server specifically for Java. It will be a application server by the second point. Thank you guys. Have a great day.